Hi, it's Maren. Welcome back to the channel. So I'm just waking up here at a friend's house. I slept here because I have sort of an awkward gap between house sits, and this way I could sort of bridge that gap without having to pay for a hotel or anything. That's a really nice thing about being in this area a little bit longer now, is I actually have people who have offered this to me. I had a lovely last night here in Denver. Don't worry, not last night forever, but just for a while, since my next house sit is going to be in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and that's where I'm going to be driving with you guys today. I have a fun stop planned for along the way as well, so I'm excited to show you guys that. Okay, it wasn't actually raining golden glitter, but that was kind of the mood in my heart while I was laying out there by this fire, as cheesy as it sounds. So what I'm wearing today for this travel day is my sun hat, because it's going to be a sunny drive. I know it looks kind of funny, but I actually really like that it protects you from light on all sides and not just like a cap like right in the front. And then I have a tank top on. I got my turquoise necklace that I got in Santa Fe, which feels only fitting since that's where I'm going back to. And then I have these, I don't even know what color this is, leggings. Let me know if you guys like this color of leggings. So these leggings actually have kind of a funny story. So at some point I accidentally ended up in the parking lot of an outlet mall while I was traveling last year. And I figured, why don't I just go in and see what they have? Because, you know, at an outlet price, maybe it'd be worth it. Anyways, I ended up getting these leggings. They're a little bit too small on me. And so I actually tried to sell them on Poshmark. It didn't sell. Long story short, I still have the leggings. It's been basically a year, and I'm like, okay, maybe if I just wear them enough, they'll kind of like stretch into fitting me, basically. The girl at the store had said that at the time, but I think she was also just trying to make a sale, so I don't know, but we'll try it out. I definitely want something stretchy when I'm driving in the car for such a long time and you're sitting and you're kind of just like crunched up anyway. So I feel like this is a good chance to stretch them out. I'll show you them again. They have kind of cool mesh on the side, and this is kind of a weird color, which I think is part of the reason they didn't sell on Poshmark, but I actually really like this color. But you guys let me know if you like this color, if you think it's too bright for leggings. I'm usually much more of like a black or gray or muted colored legging girl. Okay, so on my way out of town, I actually stopped by my storage unit because I realized there was something very particular that I wanted from there to take with me to Santa Fe. Now I'm just gonna make sure it's locked. I always get a little bit paranoid about this just because my whole life's in there, so leaving that unlocked is not a good thing. Now I have a few more errands to do on my way basically out of town, so I think I'm gonna pick up coffee probably and food. And then also I'm dropping off a bag of fabrics at my friend's house. She basically lives on the way out of town from here. All right, so I set up the video camera on an exit here, and I figured I'm just gonna talk to you guys as if I was talking to a friend on a drive. I'm not gonna look at the camera, so if it somehow moves, I'm sorry about that. It just is what it is when you're driving, and I'm not trying to prioritize, you know, touching my phone while I drive. I have it set up on a tripod in the passenger seat, so hopefully it just doesn't move too much. And I'm just gonna kind of put in some clips of me driving as well as the surrounding scenery while I kind of give you guys some updates on what's happening in my life and where we're kind of gonna be stopping along the way today. We are here in Castle Rock, Colorado right now. There's about 5 hours left of this drive. I turned off the GPS for now to film. So I did go drop off my fabric to my friend. Basically, I just got a bunch of fabric that one friend was getting rid of, and I dropped it off with another friend. I also wanted to use the drive to talk about house sitting a little bit more. As you guys know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I use a site called Trusted Housesitters to find house sits and live that way as opposed to paying rent somewhere. Well, house sitting is becoming a lot harder as we get into fall. It's currently the beginning of September, and this last house sit was 18 days, and the one before that was 14 days, I think. But that's a big change from the kind of house sits that I was able to get in the summer, which were closer to a month usually. My longest house sit ever was something just shy of 6 weeks. So it was basically twice as long as the kind of house sits that I'm able to get now, or actually even almost 3 times as long. It's a really big difference moving once a month versus moving twice a month in terms of just time and energy commitment. Also, a lot of these moves usually happen on the weekends because people travel from a weekend to a weekend, which means I'm losing out on 2 weekends a month. So basically having a social life just kind of has been going out the window now. In addition to that, there's kind of been a huge supply-demand shift that seems to be happening on the site. I used to have people reach out on Trusted House Sitters to me, so it was homeowners looking for pet sitters that would reach out to me and ask me to do a house sit for them, and that's happening a lot less. And when I used to apply to house sits, if I would apply to say 3, I would probably get 1 out of the 3. Now I feel like the odds are more like maybe 1 in 10. So I'm spending a lot more time browsing on the app, applying and interviewing for these house sits. So, I mean, honestly, I'm really wondering how long I can sustain this for, because the added time moving multiple times a month plus the extra time applying is definitely starting to add up. You know, keep in mind too that house sitting is not my only job. House sitting through Trusted House Sitters doesn't pay. So I still have an online job, plus modeling, plus trying to make consistent content for YouTube. And it's just kind of feeling like a lot lately. Now, don't get me wrong, I have saved thousands of dollars by house sitting instead of paying rent somewhere. So I do still really like the site overall. I'll put my link for discount if you want to sign up on the site in the description box as well. But I'm just kind of commenting on the trends that I'm noticing here over time. I'm thinking that this shift kind of that I'm seeing here has to do with the fact that people are going back to school. So that kind of affects things in a couple different ways. So one, I think less people are traveling in total, which makes the app more competitive, because if there's the same number of house sitters competing for less total house sits, then it makes sense why within an hour of being posted, a house sit will say that, 3 people have already applied. So on the app, you can see how many people have previously applied when you click on a house sit. And I think the second reason is that people, and especially families, can't obviously travel for as long during the school year as they do during the summer. So the combination of both of those things makes it really tough on the house sitters, because now they have to work a lot harder to secure house sits, and those house sits are also shorter periods of time on top of it. Anyways, I don't fully know what I'm going to do yet, but I just felt like it was important to be honest with you guys about some of the seasonal trends that I'm seeing here. I'm trying to speak loudly, but there is rain coming down outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. Hopefully you can hear me all right. So the current outside temperature is 74 degrees Fahrenheit out. I think this is a pretty ideal temperature for driving. I've kind of found that anything that's over 95 degrees, my poor little Red's air conditioner just doesn't really keep up anymore. So I know I mentioned this, and I have a fun stop planned for us on the way. We're going to be stopping in Raton, New Mexico, which is the northernmost town in New Mexico on I-25. They have a giant You Are Beautiful public art installation there that I really want to see. Actually, that I'm more determined to see than ever, because there's supposed to be one of these in Denver that I went to go see, and they seem to have taken it down, because when I got there, there was a giant construction site at the location where the sticker was supposed to be. I was so disappointed. I actually reached out to the company to ask them if they knew it had been taken down, and I put, of course, a sticker there to mark that I'd been there and replace the sign. Well, do a little action maybe that replaces the sign a little bit. So if you're not familiar with these You Are Beautiful stickers, they are made by a company out of Chicago. They started in 2002, just putting up 100 stickers in their neighborhood of Chicago. I think on their website, it just sums it up so beautifully. It says, "We create inspirational quotes like You Are Beautiful to remind us why kindness is important." And I think that's just really the heart of the message there, is just spreading kindness and spreading a positive message. So I almost ran out of gas here, guys.